I've been trying to crawl. I've been on my own for long enough. Maybe you can show me how to love. Maybe I'm going through
In
a
December
door.
2025, Muppet fans got their first new Rizzo video since 2016, and their first Bean Bunny appearance since 2009, with both roles now performed by puppeteer Bradley Freeman Jr. Recently, our friends at the Muppets Studio asked if we'd like to help them introduce Bradley as the new performer of these beloved characters, and of course, we at Tough Pig said a resounding yes. So last week, I sat down with Bradley on Zoom to discuss his career, his auditions, and, of course, Rizzo singing Blinding Lights on The Muppet Show. Please enjoy this chat with Bradley Freeman Jr.
No one's around to judge me. I can't see clearly.
And I'm here with the wonderful Bradley Freeman Jr. Hello, Brad, how are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.
I'm very, very excited to talk to you. Excited to talk to you about a pigeon. I'm excited to talk to you about a rat. I'm excited to talk to
Yeah,
you about a bunny rabbit and everything in between.
yeah, a
Uh,
sky rat, a floor rat, and a fluffy rat.
that's I'm not sure Bean wants to be called a fluffy rat, but you would know. You would know more
He's
than
just happy
I.
to be called, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Bradley, I think you and I are about the same age. I think you
I
might
think
be a
so. I'm
couple of years.
27.
Oh, you and I are not the same age. I am much older than you.
Oh,
I am.
how old are you?
I'll be 37 in a couple of months.
Oh, congrats. Wait,
Thanks.
when's your birthday?
May 26th.
I'm June 22nd.
Okay, well,
So,
that's
so
my
almost a
brother's
perfect 10
birthday.
years.
Almost a perfect 10 years. That is my brother's birthday.
That's your, whoa, that's random.
Except
That's
he
awesome.
is 2 years older than me, so he's much older than me. Okay, well, you and I then, I thought we might have similar sort of Muppet memories as we grew up, but I guess I've got a lot
We just
more.
might, though.
Well, no, because I remember Muppets Tonight airing, and you wouldn't because you weren't there yet.
I was not a glimmer in my father's eye, so yeah,
You
I
were
wouldn't remember
not.
that.
So tell
Correct,
me
yeah.
about the childhood. Tell me about the Muppet memories as you grew up.
So I guess, okay, it goes back very, very early. Um, my very first birthday was an Elmo birthday, and I just found these pictures recently.
Hmm.
So it goes back to. Oh, I also found a picture where I'm like 6 months old, and there's like this looming behind me these decorations, like party decorations for like Big Bird and Bert and Ernie, and I'm six
Hmm.
months old, and they're just kind of watching over me, like, "Join us, Bradley, won't you?" Um, and then my first birthday was an Elmo birthday. So as long
Sorry,
as
that
long
was
as I've been,
you're laughing because my cat
he
was
was
in the shot and just hanging out.
he was cute. I don't know, is it a boy or a girl
It's a
cat? What kind
boy.
of
His
cat is
name
it?
is Little Murray Sparkles, named after the Sesame Street cat. Sorry, continue.
Okay, well, just fun cameo by, not for the audio people, but a fun
Yep,
cameo for the both of us by Little Murray Sparkles.
that's it.
Um, so speaking of Sesame Street, that was very, very big in my life early on, and of course it is, right? It's most parents' default, and
Hmm.
lucky for me, it was my parents' default. It was that along with Barney and Bear in the Big Blue House and Between the Lions and even Fraggle Rock to an extent came a little bit later for me. And so I had all of these things on DVD, home video. I had a lot of VHSs of these, and I was just obsessed. And I was really, really, really obsessed with the tangibility of the characters. And so, like, I was a huge appreciator of Toy Story and Pixar and stuff. But I knew that, like, I know I can't shake Woody's hand. Like, and
Hmm.
I know I can't actually meet Woody. And if
Yeah,
I do, he'll be 8 feet tall at the parks, and it's just not going to be the correct
not the
thing.
same. Yeah.
But it's not the same, yeah. And so I was like, but I know I can give Barney a hug. I know that I can give Elmo a hug. I know that I can give Big Bird a hug. I don't mean to brag, but I have given Big Bird a hug, and it's very nice. But I couldn't really articulate that when I was 5 years old, but it was something that was very just. I couldn't take my eyes off of the screen when something like that was happening.
Yeah.
Um, so from there on, like, it was, I remember I was an easy gift. Like, when people wanted to get me stuff for my birthday, it was something Muppets would work fine. I was always happy with that. And I remember I would get like DVDs, and one of the DVDs I got, funny enough, was Muppets Wizard of Oz. And one of the greatest things that Muppet Wizard of Oz gave me was a trailer for the Muppet Show on DVD before the movie started.
Hmm.
And I was very excited about that. So I asked my grandparents to take me to Walmart so that we can get season one of the Muppet Show on DVD, which was all that was available at the time, I think. or all that was there, like at the store
Yeah.
at least. I don't remember. But I do remember we were at Walmart and we got this DVD. And I remember putting it into the uh,
DVD
DVD
player.
player. And yeah, that's what they were. Cleverly named. And the it was I remember being a little bit scared because it was not as vibrant and they were not as polished
Hmm.
as I'd remembered, especially Gonzo. I remember having like a weird feeling when I saw Gonzo, like, ugh, like that's not the Gonzo. Who is that? He was kind of rough around the edges and a little frightening looking. And then very quickly, I was like, I love this so much. I love all of this, so, and I can't stop watching it. And I had season one of the Muppet Show on DVD that I would replay over and over and over and over. And it was a 4 disc set, and then I would lose one because I would took it everywhere with me, and then it
Mm.
was a 3 disc set, and so I had. But I would remember, I would watch the bonus features. I would watch the sex and violence pilot that was offered on that DVD, and my favorite thing was the zoom out at the very end when we got to see all the performers. And it was like just magic. I can't describe it. And from there on, I kind of had this like tunnel vision for what I wanted to do. Like I knew that I wanted to do that. I knew I wanted to be a part of this show, which was over, but like I wanted to
Mm.
be a part of this troupe of people doing this thing somehow, some way. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do, but I want to be a part of it. And so everything that I did, whether it was band or theater or this destination imagination, which was a thing that we had in after school program, no matter what it was, that is what everything was going to lead me toward puppetry somehow.
Hmm.
It was the thing that I was going to do, and nothing. My sight for that was so strong that nothing really ever got in the way of that. There was all there was some periods where I was like, maybe do I want to be an animator? Like maybe I want to do that because I'm like I don't know what jobs there are in this industry. It's like 2006 when I'm thinking about this, so I'm like I'm 8. And so I'm like, do I want to be an animator? Do I want to be because there's no Muppet stuff happening right now? Maybe I won't get a job. And I remember trying it and thinking, nope, don't want to do this at all. Just gonna keep hoping that there's Muppet stuff when I go. And I just kept pushing for that. Um, the other movies that I had on DVD or that my uncle had on DVD were Muppets Take Manhattan
Hmm.
and Muppets from Space. Those were probably the two movies outside of the Muppet Show that I watched constantly. I
Yep.
watched them over and over and over and over and had them like memorized. And two very funny enough ended up being two very kind of historic movies for Rizzo.
Yeah.
Um, One was kind of the first time we saw him really in the iteration that we know him as today, like as like proper true Rizzo form. Visually, he sounded like him, he acted like him. And then Muppets from Space was very heavy Gonzo Rizzo, in a very nice representation of that relationship and his relationship with the other Muppets and
Hmm.
the sort of comedic beats and just it was a people have things to say. That was a very fun movie. I have a lot of fun watching that movie. I don't maybe agree that Gonzo should have been named as a specific thing. I kind of like when he's a whatever.
Well, I don't think that ever really became canon. Like I've heard Dave Gold say, "Nah, that's not real. Don't worry about it."
Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I think it's funnier when he's a whatever when we just don't know
Yeah,
what he
I
is.
agree.
But the movie itself, there was a lot of fun to be had in that movie, and those were some of my favorites. Yeah,
So, all right, you've got this tunnel vision. You're 8 years old. You've got a
yeah.
tunnel vision. I'm going to be a puppeteer, no matter what.
Mhm.
How does that eventuate into? Because I believe you started. Is it you started with Sesame?
Yeah, I started on Sesame Street, and that was in 2021. I got the job in late 2020, and
So you're how old at that stage?
started shooting in 21.
What, 20,
I
21?
was 22.
Okay.
I was 22 on my first day of shooting.
Yeah.
And that was, well, the way that I got it, I should even back up further.
Yeah.
The way that I got that part is there was a workshop in 2018 for young puppeteers from around the world who wanted to potentially be a part of this learning experience from the cast of Sesame Street. So this included Matt, Vogel, Martin Robinson, Peter Linz, and Stephanie DeBruzzo were all the teachers for this. And that's like big freaking deal for me.
Yeah.
The idea that I would even get to meet them was stellar.
Mm.
So I was really just excited about that. Sent in an audition. There were several hundred people who sent in an audition. They were only going to be taking 30. I remember shooting my audition like 20 times, hoping, just making sure that, just laboring over every minute detail of the puppetry to make sure that it was good enough to be accepted. Luckily, I got accepted. And those were some of the coolest days of my life because I got to go up to New York for 3 days. And it was my first time meeting other puppeteers.
Hmm.
I had never met another, like, true, passionate puppeteer,
Yeah.
people like me. Whereas, like, this is the thing that I do. I obsess on this. I sit here and I work on it to make sure it's the best. And it was also my first time. I was really, really excited to be critiqued by professional puppeteers because I had nobody to look at what I was doing and say, I know exactly what you're doing wrong and I know exactly how to make it better. My mom couldn't do that. My friends couldn't do that. They could say something looks off and I could listen and really try to figure out what they were talking about because ultimately that is your audience. But they don't quite know how to articulate, oh, well, your eye focus is off, so you just need to bring that down. Or he's not breathing, or, he's
Hmm.
completely still and he goes kind of dead, so you need the micro move. My mom can't say that, but Marty can, and they did. And so I was just so excited to be there. And then after that was over, there had been some auditions and stuff, over the next year or two. There had been auditions and I hadn't been called, and I was feeling kind of down about it, but I was also really excited. Like, I'm still on the list, and maybe they just didn't remember, blah blah blah. And then I remember thinking one night, this was during COVID, so I was exceptionally lonely, as
Mm.
we all kind of were at that time, where I was just kind of like stuck with my thoughts. And it's funny because it was literally a dark and stormy night. So it was very, like, when I was driving my car, because it was my only way to get out of my apartment.
Hmm.
I was in college at this time. And I was driving my car and I was just thinking, like, okay, well, they've had these auditions. I haven't been called. These seem like auditions I probably would have been called for. And that's okay. I'm not mad at anybody. I think that's all right. I'm on a list somewhere. My name just hasn't made it to the top enough to do their thing or to get to these auditions. That's okay. I'm gonna be okay. And sort of came to this like conclusion that I don't need to make it to the NBA of puppetry to be happy. And that I should stop basing my happiness off of making it to this brand name of puppetry.
Hmm.
It is a beautiful goal, but I can't let my happiness depend on that. And I was thinking, like, I'll get older, I'll grow up, I'll get a really nice job where I still get to be creative, I'll have a family, I'll keep buying puppets on eBay and we'll be having fun with them. I'll shoot my own stuff, I'll make stuff with friends, I'll play, with my kids. And maybe I'll, be able to make a name on my own, just sort of doing my thing. But I love puppetry because I love puppetry, not because I need to be part of the most exclusive group of puppeteers in the world.
Hmm.
Even for the best puppeteer, it's a very, it's like making it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know how many thousands of puppeteers in the world, and there's 12 puppeteers on Sesame Street, and there's six puppeteers on the Muppets. So, like, why would I even? How, if they say something, I would not say
And they're the
no. But
same people.
and
So
they're the
it's
same
they're
people.
the same people.
Yeah. So it's like even more exclusive than one would have thought. So I'm just like, I can't. I just had this sort of revelation, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna watch it. I still have this like one up, if I want to think about it that way, where I got to go. I got to learn from them. I got to be there. I got to meet these people. That's already. If I want to think about winning something, that's already so far above so many fans. So I'll always have that, right? If I want to just rest on something.
Hmm.
But that's not what I need, and I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. And I was at such peace with myself. It was really nice. I remember I shared that on a call with like that night. Once I got back home, I was on a phone call with a bunch of other puppeteer friends of mine, Sebastiano, Brandon, and Mark. We had this group chat that we would chat like every day because it was COVID. And I remember telling them that, and they were like, "That's a good way to think about it." And I was like, "Oh, nice, isn't it?" And the next morning, I get an email from Martin P. Robinson saying, "Hey, how are your puppeteer chops?" And I was like, they're good, they're great, Mr. Robinson. Um, and all of that sort of led into him letting me know that there was an audition and that he thought I should be a part of it. They asked me to audition for these characters that were going to be introduced to explain race,
Hmm.
and that was Wes and Elijah.
Hmm.
And so I ended up getting the part of Wes. I get there and I do it, and I have a lot of fun. And I'm also very intimidated because on Sesame Street, usually you do some assisting and right handing for years
Hmm.
until you finally get a speaking role where you say the letter G, and then that's your whole thing for the year, and then you hopefully get more the next year. Well, this was one of those rare occasions where I had to come in and be a character that was kind of leading this video and leading this, or one of the leads of this initiative,
Hmm.
which is very intimidating, especially when you're surrounded by your heroes. Um, and you have to kind of like match pitch. Like Elmo's walking in, and I have to look like I'm at least a good enough puppeteer to be in the same room. So this is a big moment. And so that was that first video explaining race. That was my very first time on set. That was it was the same room as the workshop, and I could hear my heartbeat. I was so nervous. And Finally they said 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they hit and it sort of washed out. Like I
Yep.
was like, no, they hired you. They hired you. Just do the thing. Do the thing you've been doing for the last 20 years. Just do it. Um, and that's what I did. And Then they asked if I would cover for the puppetry for Tamir because it was still mid COVID and there was like
Yeah.
all these scheduling issues and it was just really hard to get Tao in. And So I was covering for Tamir's puppetry while Tao did the voice from home. And then Tao eventually decided that he wanted to step away from Sesame to focus on a bunch of other stuff. And I was very uh, nervous to be stepping into that role because it was about to be a principal role on the show itself.
Hmm.
But I stepped in. Well, I got Tao's blessing before I did that, and he said that it was going to be okay. That he would be very happy with me doing it. And so I auditioned for the character, and then stepped in and started playing Tamir, and then that turned into a really nice thing with Sesame, where I became one of the people that I never thought I'd be, which is one of the principal performers on the show, doing not only Tamir, but a tomato and a rock and the letter Q and all these other super fun things. Um,
And may I
they
say, you
asked
were
if I would
great
be.
as the letter Q.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Nobody talks about that, and I think it's the work that I'm the most proud of.
Yeah, you should be.
Minute 23 in episode. No, I don't remember. But So after that, they asked me to be a part of Helpsters, and I got to work on a set, like proper, and was as an ensemble member there, which was very nice because I got to sort of take a step back and actually see exactly what was going on rather than being hyper focused on my own lines. And as I was doing that, I remember getting an email from Disney Live Entertainment asking if I wanted to be a part of a Muppets workshop.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, what an honor. That would be so cool. But I said no because I thought, well, it's Disney Live Entertainment, so they probably want me for the parks or something.
Right.
Like, because
Yep.
that's so now I was like, I can't really, I would love to work in the parks. That's a dream. But the other dream is coming true right now, and I can't really give it up to go
Yep.
to the parks. So I denied it. I just declined straight up, was like, no. And they were like, hey, Bradley, I don't think you understand. This is for the Muppet Studio. I'm like, wait, no, the real ones? Like what, for TV? They were
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, then yeah, I want to be a part of that. So I sent in a video and got to, it was for a workshop, and I wasn't able to go to the first one. Um, but they liked it enough that they brought me onto the team. And so I was able to start kind of working with the Muppets and started doing some assisting gigs
Yeah.
here and there. Um, and then, Eventually got into Muppets Mayhem, started working on that. And it was around that time that it had been sort of not, I had been asked by a couple of the performers, like, how's your Rizzo?
Hmm.
And it was the first time that I had ever even considered the idea that I was a part of the Muppets in such a way
Yeah.
that they would trust me with something like that. I was there thinking I'd be a support, thinking I'd be an assist forever, and was so
So
content with that.
I might be able to shed a little bit of light for you on
Mm.
the moment I think they realized that they needed you around. Now,
Oh, okay.
so I'm not sure if you remember, but I was at the premiere party for Muppets Mayhem.
Yes.
Yes, you and I had a conversation that night.
Yeah, I
Um,
do. Of course I remember.
yes, and now I was talking with Lee Slaughter about you
Hmm.
because you had been
Hmm.
doubling for you've been doing Zoot because Dave wasn't doing the publicity. So you've been doing
Right.
Zoot. You guys had done that performance that night, which is literally the background of my computer as a photo I took of that you guys doing
Oh, it
that
is.
performance. Um, and so I was talking to Lee Slaughter about you, and apparently she told me that there was a interview where someone asked Zoot a question and you've answered. And she said at that moment, her, Frank, Danny, and I think she said like a couple of puppeteers underneath the characters all looked at each other and went, "Oh, oh, this guy's good." And she told me that was the moment that she's like, "Oh, I think we need to keep this guy around." And
That
so
is
I wouldn't be
fascinating.
surprised if that is maybe at the time they started to go, "How's your Rizzo?"
Oh my gosh. Okay, so actually, let me say this. So at that time, I know the question that they're talking about because
Hmm.
I was so nervous on this day. So this was I was covering for because Dave was having some sort of a procedure done.
Hmm.
So he wasn't going to be able to make a really good amount of the publicity. So I was just doing the puppetry coverage for Zoot for that whole thing.
Yeah,
And I think this was for Elle magazine when it was like that song association thing. And I had been studying the sort of like notes that they gave us the night before, like roughly what words, how the Mayhem's going to say it, because usually they, if it's the Muppets, they'll be sort of some sort of like guidelines on how they
yeah,
want to do some of these things. And so this one, there were guidelines, and it was. And Bill looked at the thing, and I'd been studying it all night, like memorizing. Okay, what would Zoot say? How was going to say it? Okay, great, 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 great. That way, Dave could cover it super easy.
hmm,
And also Dave was going to be watching me do the character, so like that was very like really intense, and
yeah,
I
yeah,
wanted to get it right. And Bill, the moment we sat down to do this thing, he looked at the script. He's like, "Let's just play the game. You guys want to just play the game? Let's
mm,
just do it for real." I was like, "Damn it!" So like now I have to improv as a character that I don't play.
yeah,
Like this is crazy. I'm also like I just started. Like this is I just got here, guys.
yeah,
But Dave had asked if I would do this, and so of course I said yes. And then Bill was like, "Let's just do it improv," and so that's what we did. And we improved it, and I just tried to help. And there was one question where I answered, or I think it was that I didn't answer,
hmm,
but I improved as Zoot in the way that he just doesn't hear things. I just covered for myself, not
yeah,
having heard. And then we came down, and I remember Rudman looking back. That was like, that was really eerie. That was like Dave was right behind me because that's what Dave does all the time. And I was like, thanks, I guess. That was just, I had just screwed it up. And then it just gave me a little more confidence and we kept
yeah.
moving forward. So I guess it was in that moment in that room. Oh, thank you
That's
for
cool.
telling me that.
I'm
That's
glad that I
really
got to tell
funny.
you that.
Oh,
All
that's
right.
so funny.
Well, I mean, let's talk Rizzo because so you were asked how your Rizzo was. So this wasn't something
Yeah.
where they had just decided Rizzo was coming back and had a mass call out, or was it just for you to go, "How's your Rizzo?"
It was so they had asked me because I know they had considered me for it, and I certainly wasn't the only person being considered for this role, but I was one of the people being considered. And um, when they finally sort of came to it, I had been working on it for a while already. I had sort of been doing voice notes and talking back and forth with some of the performers, trying to see like how close does this feel and where does it need to go, and do I pinch it more? Do I, because Rizzo's voice, if you can't hear, is very different from my normal speaking voice.
Hmm.
It's a lot higher and drier, and it's got a nasal thing, but different from my nasal thing that I have, and it's very unique. And so it took a lot of work to do, but bottom line was like I'm a person who like, sure, I had the advantage of I was one of the people being considered. But what I didn't want was the advantage of like, well, he's already here, so it should just be him.
Yeah.
I really wanted to earn it. I really wanted to make sure that I was the best person for this character. So then the auditions came, um, and it was internal, and it was actually all audio. And so I was just sort of like send some stuff. We have like a script for you to say, and then we're gonna do callbacks soon based on that. And the callbacks were just improv on Zoom with Matt and Eric and Bill, and some of the execs were in hidden. Um, and that was intimidating because it was just 30 minutes of improving as characters that I once again don't really play. So I felt very
Without a
insecure about
puppet,
it, right?
or just get like just
without
speaking,
without a puppet, just vocally. Yeah, just vocally, because it was since it was internal, they knew that we could
do the
handle the
puppetry.
puppet part.
But I would
Yeah,
find
this was
that
definitely.
improvising as a character you didn't play even harder if I didn't actually have the puppet on my hand to sort of channel, I guess.
Yeah, that was definitely part of it because I couldn't. I'm very used to looking at my character as they're speaking, which is not something that
Mm,
many performers get to do. So like when I see Tamir, I know exactly what he's supposed to sound like. And I see Rizzo, and of course I know exactly what he's supposed to sound like, but I'm not really looking at him, so I don't have that reinforcement. So I don't know if it's falling too low or if it's
yeah.
going to. I couldn't tell. So I was so nervous during that whole thing, and then it was over, and I was so nervous after that. And then finally, about a week later, maybe a week and a half later, I get a call from Michael Steinbach, one of the better calls of my life so far, where he says that the team would like to have me play Rizzo and Bean for this project, and if all goes well, quote unquote, for all the projects moving forward. Um, and I was like, oh my God, dude. And that was like a week before we got started filming. And so
Yeah.
my first time actually seeing Rizzo and Bean were when I was going to be the new stewards for these characters.
Hmm.
So like looking at the puppet in person was very odd because I know him so well
Yeah.
and we've only just met.
Yeah.
And this is about to be a really close relationship that him and I are about to have.
Yeah.
That was with him and with Bean. And so this, and one of the fun things about Bean is that he's been refurbed, I think, a little bit on the inside, but the tag, because most all the Muppets have tags on, which version they are,
Yeah.
what year they're from, etc., so we can keep track of that. And this Bean was from 1989.
Oh wow.
And so I was like, this is Bean. Like,
Yeah.
there's no other. It's not Bunny Picnic Bean, but it's every other one.
I was gonna say
It's
it's Muppet
Christmas
Vision
Carol. It's
Bean.
Muppet Vision,
Yeah.
exactly. And I can tell which one it is too. Um, and it's. I was like, I can't believe that I'm even looking at him. Right, I'm looking at this museum piece. Now I have to put him on and take care of him. And
Well,
so then I went into a
before
very yeah. Go ahead.
sorry, I
Yeah.
was going to say before we start to sort of talk about the first time you performed these characters, like that
Mm,
day,
mhm, mhm.
with so the audition for Rizzo, was that the same as, because Rizzo and Bean, they are different voices, but they're not worlds apart. Um,
No.
so is this audition for Rizzo? Do you know you're also auditioning for Bean, or are they two separate
Yes.
auditions?
Yeah, there was a list of several characters that they were planning on bringing back for the special, and they
Yep.
were like, "We don't know if they'll all be in the script. We don't know, blah blah blah, but we just want to make sure that we have somebody to play these characters."
Yep.
And so I had sent in for Rizzo and Bean specifically
Okay.
to audition for them. So I got to have like part of that improv thing was for Rizzo, part of it was for Bean,
Hmm.
and they were both very fun and very nerve wracking. But yes, I did know that I was auditioning for Bean.
Okay. All right. So, all right. This first day you're performing it, is this for the Muppet Show special, or is this for like something we haven't seen yet, or is this for those videos that came out in December?
Yeah, this was so the very first thing that I recorded as Rizzo was the Muppet Show special, which is
Really just threw you in the deep end there,
nauseating,
didn't they?
big time. Because the first thing that I recorded ever, it actually wasn't on camera. It was the song. It
Hmm.
was Blinding Lights was the first thing that I went in to record as Rizzo. I hadn't even put him on camera yet, really.
Yep.
I had taken him home, because they had me take him home back to the hotel, and I was able to practice and really
Yep.
just get the feel for it. Um, and I remember having a moment where Rizzo kind of looked back at me as I'm sitting in my hotel room. He's like, "Come on, you got it. You got it. Don't screw it up." but you got it. And, and it was because he's just got that no nonsense face,
Mm,
and it was just looking right at me. And so, anyways, yeah, the first thing that I recorded was Blinding Lights, which was very scary because it's not what you tip the kind of thing you typically hear Rizzo sing. So I didn't really have much of a reference to go back and hear that. Um, and it was like it was going to be processed, and then it was also like I kept going to Bill when we were there and just like, let me listen back, please let me listen back. This is the first thing that has ever been recorded as this character in a decade. Like I need to listen back to it. And then I was in there for a while, and just kind of doing it and over and over. And I'd picked finally like the right key, and so I'd been working on it for a little while, and so then finally it came out, and we did it, and I was like, no, I need to do one more. I need to do one more. I know exactly what's wrong. And
yeah.
I did it. I did one more, and I did just an extra like pinch of the nose to get
Hmm.
it like to sort of a more um pointy sound. There's
Yeah.
no other way to describe it. That's just what's in my head. And the moment I did that, Bill and I were both like, "Yep, that's it. Okay, we got it." And so what we're hearing is like the very last take, like an hour before it was due for him to send it in to get processed so that we could start recording
Yeah.
um, to that track. And so it was nerve. And the whole time that we were on set, I was very nervous to do the voice. I didn't
Mm,
want to do it, especially in front of these people who had worked with this character for the last 30 years. Um, they know what he sounds like.
mm,
And I am new, I'm one of the first people to come in not having worked with the previous performer to do this. So this was really intimidating. And so I didn't want to improv. And so all of the guys kept like, "Hey, Rizzo's back. Oh, you're so quiet. Why don't you say hi? Say hi, Rizzo. Say hi. Just say hi." Every time I was on camera, it was
yeah.
mostly Scooter. Just like, say hi.
That sounds like
Come
Rodman.
on. Yeah. um, but what I was like, no, you'll hear it. You'll hear it when it's time. And so that's what happened. They heard it during the song, and they luckily they had very nice things to say. And then we did a couple other things that I got to do Rizzo on, and I had been able to work with the puppet a little bit more, and really felt it, and we were recording proper dialogue, which was going to be easier to compare.
Hmm.
And the performers have been very kind, and very like just sort of they feel pretty grateful, right? There's this like element, like I'm grateful to be here, and they're grateful um to have me there and to have this character back, because he's so awesome. He's so
I
cool.
mean, he's definitely been missed. In the
Yeah.
last, like, as much as I love the Gonzo Pepe pairing,
Mm,
but just didn't feel the same in Muppets Haunted Mansion than it would have had it been Gonzo and Rizzo. Um, and so I have missed that pairing. So I know, like, at least nothing that's come out yet has been Gonzo and Rizzo again. Um, but I'm looking forward to sort of seeing that
yeah.
interaction again. How
Yeah, I am too.
with these performers, being very supportive. Obviously, Dave Gold had worked Gonzo and Rizzo for a long time. How's he been?
Mhm. That he's actually been fantastic. It was one of the more nerve-wracking things. Him and I luckily have a really nice relationship. From Mayhem, there was some stuff that we got to do. We got together on the last day and had a lot of fun. I was assisting Zoot, and we just had a blast. And so since then, he's like trusted me.
Mm,
And it's why he had me cover for the publicity things, and so I wasn't too scared, but I was nervous. This is a person who's been working with Rizzo, and Steve was his a really good friend, and it can feel weird if you're just coming in and
mm,
really, I don't know, it can feel weird to have this new guy just
yeah,
come in and do that thing that you've been doing with your friend for such a long time.
yeah.
And we were working on something, I can't say what, but it was something that was just audio, and it was going to be it was my first time as a Gonzo Rizzo pairing. And I was very nervous, but I just decided, yeah, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna have fun. He likes to have fun. I like to have fun. We all like to have fun. It's all about play. So I'm just gonna play. And it's exactly what we did. And I was just playing around, and I was just being a little pest with him, and we were riffing on the lines, and finding ways to do it. And after that, we all went out for drinks, and Dave was like, there was several moments where I really felt like Stevie was right next to me again, and it just felt, which was an honor. And I'm like, I'm glad that the way that we play um, reminds you of something that is very special to you.
Mm,
And I'm also really excited to develop this new sort of relationship between the two of us, because now it is that interesting thing of, he is the mature one and I'm the new guy, which is weird. It's weird calling Gonzo the mature one, but if you look at something in the world of like Christmas Carol or whatever, like Gonzo's kind of leading the charge on this mission that he wants to go on, and Rizzo's kind of just off to the side, being a little bit of a pest, kind
yeah.
of up and around him, and having fun with it and supporting him, but just sort of, being annoying. And that's kind of what's happening now, which is very fun. Because I'm just the little brother of the whole group at this moment. I'm
Yeah.
Everyone else is like 104 years old.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's not tell them that. Um, so look, let's go quickly run through. So, the first thing we all got to see as public was,
mhm,
Piggy and Rizzo talked about Christmas.
mhm.
And
Yes,
then there was Bean and Piggy's Disney Vacation Club. So that was the first time we saw Bean in
right.
years and years. Uh,
Years, yeah.
my personal favorite, Resolutions. I watched it again. I
Yeah.
watched it again last night, and A, just very funny, but B, the puppetry you're doing of him going bam, resolution, really made me laugh every time. And then Fozzie and Bean telling jokes. Are these all things recorded on
Oh, yeah.
or recorded on one day?
Yeah, those were all a social media day that we had, and I was
Yep.
like, "Oh my gosh, you want me to be a part of it? Of course!" And so it was just me, Matt, and Eric for the whole day, and we did a bunch of stuff. I think some hasn't even come out yet,
Hmm.
but the rest of it will be coming out very soon. And it was also very intimidating, because that resolutions script actually started out as like a 3-page script.
Hmm.
It was too long for socials, and it was still good, but it wasn't Rizzo.
Hmm.
And this is sort of one of the things that I really, really admire about the Muppets and the Muppet performers, is we all know the characters so well. We've all not only studied these characters thoroughly, but we've lived these characters. And part of the reason that we've been chosen to be these characters is because our relationship with each other, in many ways, can reflect the relationship that you see on screen. And so it's very true to the characters. And so when you become a person who is taking care or performing these characters, you also need to know how to take care of them, and you need to know what's true
Hmm.
to them. And so we were reading it, and it was like, it's a funny script. It works, but it's not Rizzo.
Hmm.
It's not about him. It was kind of like a Rizzo saying it's okay to give up on your resolutions, just call them Rizzolutions, and then you don't have to feel bad anymore. And it's like, that works, but it's not Rizzo. What
Yep.
does Rizzo want? I mean, if we want to boil it down, he wants food, he, he wants money, right? Like, he's always got some kind of a grift going. He's always got some, like, oh, there's snacks over there, there's pizza over there, there's this. And so I was like, so how can we make this happen? So we sat there and we actually kind of just retooled the whole thing into
Yep.
something that was about a page and a half. And we did the rule of three, which was one, two, three. And then the last one was just like, yeah, call your mother though. She's been wanting to hear from you. Um, and then we just sort of plussed it up. And so I had Matt was my right hand for that video. So I was able to do like the extra boom, because he
Hmm.
saw that I was trying to do it and it didn't quite work. And so then, but there's something so cool about the way his jacket, like everything just falls just right
Yeah.
when he says boom. And so, yeah, we retooled it, and we did that a little bit later on, because it was like the first thing up in the day, and I had barely performed the character before, and it was
Hmm.
3 pages of monologue. And Matt was like, move this. Let's move this until a little bit later, so that you can have a chance to be on camera and say a few things and let your voice warm up before you do this, because these might be the first things that people get to hear.
Yeah.
So that's it. And I was like, yes, thank you for delaying this thing, because I don't want to do it right now. Um, and so yeah, so we sat there and we retooled the script. And I remember hearing from I think it was Marty or Peter, but somebody said that one of Jim's tasks that he left us with was Jim Henson, by the way. He did the Muppets. He was created them.
Okay, all
So
right. I don't know who you're
yeah,
talking about, but
yeah.
continue.
James Morey. Okay, well, he
I know him as James
uh,
Morey.
James Morey Hansen. There we go.
Mm,
So
mm,
he's the one. He left us with this task, which was to take bad scripts and make them good, and to take good scripts and make them great,
hmm
and to take great scripts and make them exceptional. And so that's kind of our job, is like we get the bones, and usually they're not fully bad. I mean, we've gotten bad ones before, but usually there's like, okay, we get exactly what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Here's how we make it true to the character, and it always pluses the comedy, it pluses everything, and it makes everything stays true. And the
hmm
reason that people perceive Piggy a certain way is because she's always portrayed a certain way. It's not because she's just mean and she likes to hurt people.
mm.
She does. There's always sort of a reason behind it, and so everybody's got their drive. Everyone's got their thing. So we sat there and we retooled it. I got to shoot it. It was very very fun. And then we did the video that was Miss Piggy Rizzo, and I was told right before I walked up, like, hey, this will be the first thing that anybody ever sees of you as Rizzo. So
So good luck. Enjoy.
yeah, have fun. And I was
Put
like,
you out of the
what?
plane and off you go.
No, thank you. So I was really, really nervous. And so I worked really hard to make sure that it sounded right. And it was good. I was very excited. It was Ryan Dozier was on set with us, helping us out with a
Who?
lot of
I don't
stuff.
know
And he
who
was
that
like,
is.
he's the most famous Ryan D in puppetry. It's
I
the only
still
one.
don't know who he is.
No? Okay.
So
Well,
no.
just like Google him. Google him. But yeah, he was a
I
big
won't.
help, and he was a really, really big help in,
Yeah.
in all of those moments, and making sure I was like, does that sound right? It sounds like I'm right. Because it is, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to get this right. And
hmm
I was really very conscious of it.
Well, let's talk about the reception, because the reception has been
Mm,
overwhelmingly positive. And so to put
yeah.
a timestamp on this, we're recording this less than a week after the Muppet Show special came out.
Right.
So between these videos and Blinding Lights by the weekend,
Mhm.
which I texted you the other day and said that song has been stuck in my head for 2 weeks since I saw the screener. Thanks very much.
You're
Um,
welcome.
how's that felt? Just seeing the overwhelming support and love that you're getting and that Rizzo's getting.
Surreal is kind of the only word, because this, like I said, this has been my dream since I was 5 years old, to be a part of the Muppets and to be a part of the Muppet Show, which is a dream that I did not think would come true. Um, and here we are. And not only do I get to be a part of the Muppet Show, not only am I in the credits, but I get to, um, do it as this character that I've grown up really loving, and with the people, surrounded by the people that I have admired for years and continue to admire and now get to call my friends.
hmm
um, and so I'm sitting on the other side of this, like, I got past the glass on the TV that I just didn't think I'd be able to get past. Now I'm sitting on the other side of it, and I've never been on this side, so it's enlightening and wonderful. And I got really, really emotional during the premiere, the big premiere, because I'd already seen, like, a version of it. We had done a special screening at Imagineering, and so I used that one to sort of nitpick kind of everything. And I tried not to. I tried to just watch, but I was like, oh, I should have, and I could have, and it would have. But
mm
what if we? And then I knew what to expect, and the audience still reacted well. I was like, okay. So then we went to the big premiere, and it was lovely. It was lovely, and the audience was, you couldn't tell what was, you couldn't hear the laugh track over the laugh track that was happening behind us.
Yeah.
And I was really, I started tearing up. I was sitting next to the more obscure Ryan Dillon, and getting just very teary eyed at the fact that I'm listening to the Muppet Show theme, something that I've heard a million times, and I'm watching the Muppet Show, but on this screen is me like 10 times.
hmm
And like all of us in this row, like 10 times. I'm that character, I'm that character, I'm that character. And nobody will ever really know, because it's not about people knowing. It's about the fact that I got to be a part of this, And I'm making these people feel the way that I felt, which was just this moment of escape and wonder and just joy, and you just forget about everything else, because I would love to forget about everything else for a little bit and just focus on the stupidity and fun and humor of the Muppets. And so it was wonderful. So the reception to the show is incredible. I opened Disney Plus last night because I'm back in my hometown right now. And so I was just on the TV and I opened up Disney Plus, and we're still the number one movie as of today, February 10th, which is crazy.
Hmm.
I totally did not expect that. And the reception to Rizzo's return has been so positive and heartwarming. Um, and the reception to Blinding Lights, my phone is blowing up constantly with texts like what you said, and messages on Instagram and stuff that are just so wonderful. And I didn't know the internet could be this kind. I'm
Hmm.
so grateful for to be receiving that. And I don't seek it out anymore. On the very first day that the stuff was released, I was actually kind of like looking at things and looking at the
Yeah.
feed, and it was lovely. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to cut my losses here, and I'm not going to look up anything else. Whatever makes its way to me is fine, but I'm not going to look up anything else. But it's my whole feed now. It's everything. There's so many people that are talking about it and continue talking about it, and it's all over YouTube. All these video essays, and so many like YouTubers and theme park people that I really love watching like are saying my name on,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh man, this is just bizarre. This is so weird. But I'm so grateful to be um in that position. I'm so grateful to have been trusted by the Muppets, not only just to be a part of it, but to be such a major part of it. And I'm so grateful to all of the fans who have been so kind and excited and supportive. And I cannot wait to do more. And I'm gonna try my best to not let everybody down.
Well, I'm sure you won't. We're all very, very excited. We're also, it kind of feels like you're one of us a little bit. So
I am. I would
yeah.
hope it feels that way, because I absolutely am.
And
Also,
so,
I wanted to say the fact that I'm getting interviewed by Tough Pigs is also a really big deal for me, because I was a regular reader in school. Whenever I would just pull it up all the time,
mhm,
and that was my thing. I loved when we had like all of the art. That, like,
yep.
those were my favorite. All of those were my wallpaper at some point,
Mm.
just like nonstop, and all of the news articles and everything. I'm the idea that now I'm going to be on the other side of the tough pig stuff too is crazy.
Well, we're very, very, very thankful to have you here, and thank you for sharing all of this, and thank you for carrying on the legacy that is Rizzo and Bean, and I'm genuinely very, very excited to see what happens.
I am too. Thank you so much for having me, and thanks to everybody who has listened. I appreciate all of you so much.
blinded by the lights. No,